Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David,
I'm Craig 5, and I'm standing by.
and we love Star Wars.
We do?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We do.
This is the podcast you've been looking for. So, before we get started, of course, we want to thank all of our awesome Patreon members out there, starting with Leah McCallion, Kevin Leininger, Deb McCaffrey, Zach Netzel, Maya Morris, Adam Haber, Front Row King, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Atia Arnold, Rest Jedi 27, Alex Blundell, and Indiana Solo. Thank you so much for your awesome love and support out there. And of course, LegionSabers.com. You can go there, get your next lightsaber or lightsabers and accessories. Use the code STUFF at checkout and get 15% off. Also, I also want to mention that I will be at SpaceCon. So you can check it out at spaceconsa.com. We will be giving away free stickers. We will have a prize wheel, and we will have a raffle like we've been doing these past few cons, where we will be raffling off none other than the Home Depot life-size animatronic Stormtrooper, as you can see here on the screen if you're watching this on video. So yeah, it looks really cool. It's actually downstairs. I haven't opened yet. I'm going to assemble it, make sure I know how to put it together because it's going to be at our booth. And we're going to plug it in, and it's going to be moving. It has, I believe, several different phrases. There is a Christmas mode, and there's also a Halloween mode. And you can see there he's holding the trick-or-treat bucket that's in the shape of the Death Star, which is pretty cool. So
looking good.
Haven't put it together. I might do an unboxing and put that slapped out on Patreon and let everyone kind of check it out, how it all kind of comes together. So look out for that. SpaceCon SA. You can get tickets. You can get autographs from Natasha Luberdizzo, Ivana Sakno, Ian McDermott. Apparently, Ian McDermott has said that this will be his only con outside of Celebration, I believe.
What?
So, yeah, he's done.
No.
He said he'll never be back in Texas. He's like, after this, it's pretty much like the road to the 50th anniversary at Celebration.
Wow, so where did he say that? I didn't hear that news.
I think it was reported by Bob, actually. I think he's the one that said it. So
we need Bob on, people. You have to demand Bob to come on the podcast. You have to write him. You have to call him. You have to send him handwritten letters. You have to call him late at night. He likes that.
No, he doesn't.
And say, you got to go on Star Wars podcast.
Yeah. Maybe not a Sunday night. I tried calling him on a Sunday night, and he was trying to watch the Cowboys game, and he was like, yeah, I don't want to talk right now. I'm like, okay.
No, Sunday night especially. Especially. If you know Bob, demand that he shows up on the Star Wars Stuff podcast to tell us about all the juicy stuff going on at SpaceCon.
Yeah.
I got to go next year. It always happens at a time where I have something going on with the kids for Halloween, but he moved the dates, so I really do want to go.
Yeah, it's the weekend before Halloween.
David said I could stay at his place as long as I want. I don't have to worry about room or board or rent or whatever. He said I can sleep in his bed if he wants.
Maybe not that last part.
He's very generous.
Yeah. On to the news. So this guy right here, who's this guy, Craig?
That's Fritz McWilliamson the third.
Very close, very close. This is Dr. Frankenstein in the new upcoming Frankenstein movie by Guillermo del Toro. So apparently there's been maybe a shift of heart because Oscar Isaac was at TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, and he was asked the question, would you come back to Star Wars? Are you going to be in Starfighter? And he didn't really say no to the whole thing, which was super surprising because, as we all remember, famously, he said he'll only come back to Star Wars if he needs another house. So apparently he thinks he's going to get paid. But there is a Collider article that I'm going to go over here where it kind of details a little bit of the details. So Ryan Gosling's new Star Wars movie recently kicked off production and even added several major stars to its cast. Now, one former Star Wars icon has finally addressed his potential return in the film. The Star Wars sequel trilogy introduced audiences to numerous characters who went on to become fan favorites, but perhaps none benefited as much as Oscar Isaac. Isaac's Poe Dameron takes on a role similar to Harrison Ford's Han Solo, acting as the former scoundrel turned leader who becomes a crucial member of the Resistance. During a recent interview at the Toronto Film Festival to promote his new movie, Frankenstein, Isaac was asked about his potential return as Poe Dameron in Star Wars Starfighter, which is coming to theaters on May 28th, 2027. E.T. asked Isaac if he was interested in a reunion with Ryan Gosling, who the two worked together on 2011's Drive, to which he replied, Star Wars, right? We'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm ready for it. You let me know when. It's important to mention that there's more than a hint of sarcasm in Isaac's voice, and he could be well aware that there's no role for him in Starfighter. It's been reported that Star Wars Starfighter will not only feature all new characters, but also explore an undiscovered time in the Star Wars timeline after the Battle of Exegol. This further rules out the chance for Isaac to return in Starfighter. However, knowing that Gosling is playing a pilot in the film, it's hard not to get excited about the potential for team-ups with older characters. Starfighter is expected to be in production. My page just skipped here. Let me see. Yeah, there's so many ads on this page. My website just freaked out.
Oh wow.
Well,
I mean, I don't even know where this is supposed to take place on the timeline yet.
After the Battle of Exegol. I think it's 5 years after.
Okay.
And I know there's a confusion. I believe it's 5 years and then 15 years for the Daisy Ridley Rey film.
Is that still happening?
They say it is. They say it's happening, but seems like there's no real news report on it. Yeah, I'm trying to find my spot back
I don't even feel like that's happening, but who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I just wish they would focus more on the Mandalorian stuff and get away from sequel stuff. I really have no desire to see sequel stuff, like anything sequel related with the characters from the sequels. I want to forget.
I would say I'm a little bit different because there is some good stuff that you can mine from the sequels, like any other Star Wars project out there. I still like Rey. I like Poe. I like Finn. I would like to see them do stuff with them. It's reported that we're going to get the Rey movie. Of course, you mentioned that it's kind of on the shelf. It's really not talked about or rumored about at all. And when you think about it, I mean, the choice for that particular director, I mean, she's not that experienced. She's done documentaries. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of fan support behind that choice. And of course, you got John Boyega out there. He's doing a lot of conventions. He just did Dragon Con, and he's done New York Comic Con with Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac was supposed to do Star Wars Celebration in Japan, but I think he was working on some other project, maybe a Marvel project. But it feels like they're slowly coming back to wanting to participate in Star Wars. I think maybe because, I mean, they're getting people like Sean Levy, you know? I mean, they're getting other people. Simon Kinberg's going to do his trilogy. We still don't have any details on that. There's rumor out there that it's going to be episode 10, 11, 12, possibly. But that's kind of all like in the distant future. But I would love to see Oscar Isaac back. I mean, he is the Starfighter in the sequel trilogy. It would make a lot of sense. And this is after the Battle of Exegol. He survived. So it makes all the sense in the world for him to come back. But he's a huge star. He's starring in this new Frankenstein film on Netflix with Guillermo del Toro directing. So we'll see. I mean, in the article, it says there's a bit of sarcasm in there. But, I mean, just as like a cameo role, I mean, he could show up for a couple days and shoot some stuff and then be out of there, you know?
John Boyega said he wants to be in Spaceballs.
That would be awesome. I wouldn't put that past to get a few Star Wars actors in Spaceballs too.
Yeah, it'd be funny though if it was like just a quick cameo. I don't really want them in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like hot on the tails of
that's
that.
what Spaceballs is about. Yep.
Yeah, hot on the tails of that. So Felicity Jones also was kind of media cornered, and she was asked if she would return to a Rogue One prequel. And as she was walking away, she gave one of my favorite responses that you could ever give. She turned to the camera and said, "Maybe." So we all know that she was contracted for multiple Star Wars films, even though, of course, we all know the ending of Rogue One, which kind of makes it impossible for her to.
She's going to get pulled out of
near
the sand. She's going to get pulled out of the sand like Boba Fett coming out of the Sarlacc pit for the Rogue One sequel.
So some guy on YouTube, James Herrera, he says we need more sequel stuff.
James, do we know a James Herrera?
I think we do. I think we know James Herrera.
Yeah, I think he's one of the people that donate, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big donate. He's a big contributor. So Mariana says, I thought he was busy working on the Moon Knight Marvel thing. Kinda, but I mean, like I said, they're shooting in the UK. All this production is happening in the UK. I know Doomsday is happening there. Secret Wars. Marvel shifted from Atlanta to the UK, and it's all at Pinewood, and they're all shooting everything at Pinewood. It seems like Starfighter's at Pinewood. So just walk across the hall, do a little quick costume change, and you're good to go.
I mean, if he's in the movie, fine, cool, but I think I'd just rather them stay away from the sequel stuff. It's left such a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, but I think they can right the ship, though. I really think that if you bring in the right person, the right story, you can write it all. I mean, the sequels are set in stone. They are what they are, but you can mine characters, you can mine storylines. You could still get something out of it. And I think the brilliant thing is the casting.
You know who is in the sequels that I would like to see brought back?
Who's that?
R2-D2, C-3PO, and Chewbacca. Bring them back.
I think they're coming back, Craig. I think they're coming back. I have a pretty good feeling they're going to be involved. I mean, Chewbacca, he's a pilot too. I mean, there were rumors back in the day that we were going to see Chewbacca pilot an X-wing. Wouldn't that be cool? His like head touching the top of the cockpit.
He needed a separate thing for the top of the cockpit.
Yeah, a little kind of like extension, like a bubble cockpit instead. That'd be pretty rowdy.
Well, let's see. We saw R2. No, we saw C-3PO and R2 in Ahsoka, right? No, we saw that was in the Obi-Wan series, but we saw C-3PO in Ahsoka. We didn't see R2 though, right?
I don't think so. We got a whole lot of Huyang
comes in the room from the message from Princess Leia.
Right. We got Mon Mothma.
Yeah,
we got.
But I don't think we had R2 there.
Yeah,
we don't know what R2 is doing, do we?
He'll probably be in it at some point. I mean, he's involved in starfighting.
Will we see R2 in Ahsoka season 2? I hadn't thought of that before.
Well, he's with Luke, right?
That's true. I guess that's where he would be in the timeline.
I mean, the great question is, are we going to get more Luke stuff? And if we do, R2 is going to be there. Or if they're saving it, like we're all think possibly for the big team up Heir of the Empire type Filoni movie that's going to come down the pike here, maybe at the end of the decade or next decade.
Will we see Luke in Ahsoka season 2? Will we see him with Ahsoka, meeting Ahsoka or Anakin there? I mean, people would go nuts if we finally saw that.
I mean, you think with the Mando Grogu movie, if Favreau maybe was very kind of smooth with it, maybe he could have like did the whole 2-for-1 thing and maybe shot stuff for because Filoni's there too, of course. Maybe they could have swung a deal where you kind of shot kind of like the whole thing with the prequels where Lucas was like, I'm not coming back to Africa, so we're shooting the end of Revenge of the Sith during Attack of the Clones. And they shot the whole passing Luke to Aunt Beru, Uncle Owen. Maybe Favreau had some Lucas foresight and did something like that to maybe get some stuff in. I mean, it's possible because, I mean, you have an extraordinarily more advanced and massive budget than you do with in comparison to TV.
Yeah.
I don't know. If they have all the planning done, all the scripts, because of course, I think the reason why we never saw Zeb in as much on TV is just because, yeah, the money. I mean, it costs a lot for animators to create him. And we just saw him sitting at a bar.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guy has non-humanoid legs. And yeah, it's going to cost a lot to animate. So, yeah, that's something I really hadn't thought about until right now on the podcast. But yeah, the big question is Luke going to show up? I mean, he showed up in Ahsoka and he showed up in Book of Boba Fett. He didn't show up in Ahsoka season 1. He just showed up in Book of Boba Fett
and Mandalorian.
Right. But I think his final form, so to speak, was in the Book of Boba Fett, which came out excellent.
Yes. Yeah. It looked great. And that technology is what, at least 3 years old now?
Yep, that is true. That is at definitely least true. And it's a very strange situation to me because you have people outside of Lucasfilm creating just fantastic deep fakes, and of course the controversial topic of AI assisting or totally creating what a young Mark Hamill looks like as Luke Skywalker, as opposed to an animator and Lucas using their own proprietary stuff in-house, which probably costs so much more money because you have to involve so many people. It's almost like the whole like brick and mortar store versus buying online. The people you buy online it's usually going to be cheaper because they don't have to pay all these other people. So,
and Mark Hamill actually talked about that. Is that going to be in the article we're going to share later?
Possibly, yeah. That's the next thing we're going to talk about.
He just talked about AI and recreating characters after these characters have passed. There was like a brief quote about it.
Yeah, I think there's 2 articles. There's one here from Variety that I'm going to read a little bit. There might be a little bit of mention. So, yeah, as you can see on the screen, Mark Hamill, he is looking good, looking spry. He tells Variety, "I'm not telling my agent I got to be in a Marvel movie. I don't care at this stage of my career." Mark Hamill is not interested in Marvel movies, but I really think Marvel is interested in having him.
Really?
Oh, heck yeah. Because, I mean, Kevin Feige, he loves Star Wars. I mean, that's what he grew up with. And, I mean, look at Harrison Ford. He was Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Look at Kiwi Kwan. I mean, he was, Short Round from Indiana Jones. I mean, and, of course, I mean, you have Christopher Lloyd in Star Wars, too. I mean, they want to bring back all these characters, you know?
Yep.
And I think Kevin Feige, if nobody knows by now listening to the podcast, he's a huge Star Wars fan. But yeah, speaking of Games Radar, on his press tour for The Long Walk, which is in theaters, I think, today, the 73-year-old Star Wars icon said he's at a point in his career where he's only interested in acting in roles he wouldn't have imagined taking. That means Hamill is not likely to be back in hero mode a la Luke Skywalker anytime soon. He says, "The older you get, the less you care," Hamill said about his acting career. "I said to my agent, I'll keep doing voiceover, but I just don't relish the idea of going off on location and leaving my family because with voiceover, they're 4-hour sessions. You might have 2 on one day, but then you go home to your wife and your dogs and you sleep in your own bed. All I was saying was, at this point where I don't have the fire in my belly anymore."
Yeah.
"I'm not on the phone to my agent. I got to be in a Marvel movie. I don't care," Hamill continued, noting that he found himself in a string of movies recently almost by accident. "They offered me The Wild Robot, and I love animation. That's in my wheelhouse," Hamill said. "That I got to sleep in my own bed. Same with The King of Kings, which came out in Easter. But then Life of Chuck, I'd worked with Mike Flanagan on The Fall of the House of Usher. And I was assuming between Mike's Reputation and Stephen King, this is going to be an all-time supernatural horror epic of all time. And I couldn't believe how atypical it was for both of them. And unlike anything I've ever done before or part of, I said, oh, I definitely have to do this. That's no biggie. He signed on to The Long Walk because the role of the Major was the polar opposite of the heroic protagonist. The movie also shot in Canada, which is such a beautiful country, and in a way it works because we're isolated. You're away from home, you're really much more committed to the material at hand because you're not dealing with your books and your toys and your TV set and all the stuff you have at home. Hamill revealed at Comic-Con over the summer that he considered retiring from acting in 2019 after completing his final outing as Luke Skywalker in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I thought this stage of my career I'd be spending more time with the metal detector, wandering around the beach, playing with the dogs in the backyard, Hamill said. I said to my agent, you know what? I'm not motivated anymore. I think I'm just going to sort of retire and just do voiceover. And the only people that rejected were the only people that rejected were my agent and my wife, because I think the article means to say dejected, but it's good to have me out of the house. The Long Walk opens September 12th, which that is today, from Lionsgate. So that's not the article about AI, but I can go over that one here right quick.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
look,
that's the one you sent me, right?
I think look, as far as like, I really think he loved working with Favreau and Filoni, especially, Favreau has that magic touch of giving people what they want. He did it with Elf and creating, the Winter Wonderland, whatever you want to call it, making it feel very close to like Rudolph, and people love that. And he did it with, Iron Man. So I think Favreau has a really good idea of giving people what they want. And that probably really encouraged Filoni to give us Luke, right? I think Favreau was kind of like, can we give him Luke? And Filoni's like, yeah. And he's like, well, then we should do it. And the Luke that we want, right? Not Luke that's murdering his nephew in his sleep. Okay. So I think
I don't know. Some people might object to that.
Well, I don't care what they object to.
All right. So there's a separate article, and this is from the Hollywood Reporter. Mark Hamill strikes back with career reassurance. I don't have to be a leading man. Is that the one about AI that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. Well, there was a bunch of stuff in it, right? There was a bunch of interesting new quotes.
Yeah. Okay. So it says, after decades of being pigeonholed, the 73-year-old is enjoying a career.
Take down the picture so I can see your handsome face.
No, that's okay. As a gritty character actor, Hamill talks about his new thriller, The Long Walk, his feuding with the MAGA cult, and how long he can go without thinking about Star Wars. The newspaper's headline was brutal. Where have you gone, Mark Hamill? Asked the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette in 1999. And I asked that same question too. I brought that up on the podcast. It's like he just disappeared. When I was a little kid, I was like, why isn't Mark Hamill in movies like Harrison Ford is? And then I think Carrie Fisher kind of disappeared too. The story's answer practically jeered Luke Skywalker doing a voice on the Woody Woodpecker show, a supporting voice. Yep. Yet the biggest blow was yet to come. Hamill, star of the world's biggest sci-fi franchise, I'd say sci-fi fantasy, would continue to mainly do voice work for animated projects and video games. Much of it outstanding, and he loved the work, but still so-called face for radio gigs for well over a decade. In the past 2 years, all that's changed. Hamill, 73, not only has been enjoying a late career resurgence, he's arguably been doing his finest on-camera work ever. I agree. He was great in the sequels. He really showed like great acting chops. And
I'm not knocking his acting. He was great for the one time that I saw it.
I was blown away, man. Honestly, I was like, why hasn't this guy been acting like in a bunch of stuff?
No, nobody's knocking his acting.
And across a wide variety of projects, he played a dynastic family's grim fixer in Netflix's The Fall of House of Usher, Bert Kreischer's eccentric father in the comedy The Machine, which I haven't seen, a wise grandfather in Mike Flanagan's meditative The Life of Chuck, and this month, a menacing military leader in Lionsgate dystopian Stephen King adaptation The Long Walk, about a contest where teen boys walk until death. Ironically, it took Hamill returning to the pigeonholing role that made him famous in 2017's Craig's favorite film, The Last Jedi, for the industry to widely see him in an entirely new light, which I did too, man. I was like, oh my God, this guy's great still. Suddenly, there was Mark Hamill, and I asked the question, why has he been doing more? Older, grayer, with a gravelly voice and a level of gravitas that shed his Tatooine farm boy past. His dialogue delivery popped. This is not going to be the way you think. Amazing every word of that. Amazing every word of what you just said was wrong. A talent honed from those thousands of hours in recording booths doing voice work. He said, I certainly didn't expect to have the sunburst of life so late in the game, Hamill says. I would be spending time wandering the beaches with a metal detector. And this is like the same kind of article. I'm kind of curious to see why. Well, I mean, it's his quote. I mean, they're pulling the same quote from the same point in time. I can't explain why all of a sudden I have 5 features this year, which is incredible. And that's fantastic. The Malibu resident and father of 3 who has been married to his wife, Mary Lou York, for 47 years, opens up to THR about his career ups and downs, his latest project, and whatever he ever gets to enjoy a day without once having to think about. It's relevant in a way it wasn't even a few months ago if you follow the news. It's meant to be a dystopian future with an authoritarian government. It talks about the long walk a little bit there. And I don't think there's AI talking here. What were you referring to?
I saw a quote earlier today about something along the lines of like how they're going to have to figure out what they do with actors and characters after somebody's passed, deciding whether or not, we want to release that or no. Maybe I can find it online.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a discussion for a long time. I mean, that came up like in the 90s when they did that whole Dirt Devil Fred Astaire commercial, and people started saying, whoa, you can't use a person that's deceased in these things. What's the there's like a moral dilemma there. But I mean, they asked his estate, they approved it. We went through that with Rogue One with Peter Cushing's estate. They approved it, but then they came back, and I think there was like a lawsuit involved. But I think that was with like people that claimed a share of the estate, and I don't quote me on it, but there's a little bit of like muddiness there. But we're heading to a point where you're going to be able to put yourself in these movies, and it's going to look all photorealistic.
I mean, these things are pretty incredible. Like, I'm sending you some of this AI stuff. And some of it's kind of corny, but it's still kind of cool at the same time. Like, half the time I'm thinking, why isn't Disney giving us this? They want to keep giving us this stuff that they want to give us, but the fans are like, man, that some of that. How many of those AI things have we seen that? Yeah, no, that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a moral quandary, because you have one side of the fence where me working in the tech industry, I was told all this stuff was going to happen like 20 years ago. So it's not very shocking to me. But then you have all these other people where they're like, AI is bad. It's taboo. Don't use it because people are going to lose money. They're going to lose work. They're going to lose jobs. And I think that's where Lucasfilm kind of sits. It's like they have all these employees that they can do fantastic work. And AI is probably at the place where it could probably take over a lot of people's jobs. But that's how, and I want to be super sensitive here. I want to be sensitive to everyone's opinions and beliefs and morals here. But when you look at the reality of things, that's the way our civilization works. When the car was invented, it replaced the horse-drawn carriage. So the people that made horse-drawn carriages, they went out of business.
Yep.
And having to breed horses, that kind of slowed down, and that became a different industry. So this is just the natural evolution of technology in a way.
I do have that quote here, by the way.
Right. Okay.
What you're asking about is so hard to contemplate.
Harder than it looks, right, Craig?
Yeah, that was brain fart right there. Are we going to have to have something on our wills that commit on that, saying, I don't want this done, I have enough trouble trying to deal with the jobs that I do have to start speculating then about the future. There's so many questions about AI that haven't been answered. We'll see how all that plays out. And I think that was from the Hollywood Reporter. It may have been a
Right.
different article, but that was the quote there.
Yeah, at the Lucasfilm Museum panel with Guillermo del Toro.
One last thing that I want to add on. He said about the reasons why he did Mandalorian, which we may have probably talked about before, is that basically that Luke had a beginning, a middle of a beginning and an end, but there was no middle. Like, I guess meaning like seeing Luke in his prime. So he says you never got to see Luke as Master Jedi at his peak powers. He was the most idealistic character in that series. He was someone who would take adversity and double down and come back and counter his setbacks. We didn't see any of that. So when I got the chance, I thought, geez, this is wonderful. And he sure was right.
Yeah.
Geez, this is wonderful. Isn't that a much more interesting quote than the other quotes we heard in the past? This is wonderful. Exactly. And it was for all the people that grew up the original trilogy. That was an amazing moment. And I mean, that was the best TV moment I've ever seen, was Luke coming in at the end. And we waited 30 years for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to see him and Han and Leia. I know it can't be to the extent of what it was, but I would love to see them show up in a way that makes sense for where they are in the story.
Yeah, but it can be with AI.
It can be with AI.
Yeah, pretty much
no,
with the deep
of course.
fakes. I mean, like, because we're all thinking there's going to be this big climactic battle in the Filoni movie that doesn't have a title yet. We're all thinking it's Heir of the Empire with Thrawn and everything. So it's the time period where Luke, Han, and Leia are still young. It's after Return of the Jedi. They could swoop in and participate in that battle, along with Lando too, and Chewie, and 3PO, and Art. I mean, you could pretty much bring back the original trilogy characters, but of course, by that time, I mean, you don't know who's going to be available, and of course, Carrie Fisher has passed. So, but I think we all know that Carrie Fisher's estate is going to be like, heck yeah, we want her in anything you guys want to do live action.
Yeah.
And Billie Lourd has said as much. She loved the fans. She loved Star Wars. She loved everything that had to do with Princess Leia.
Yep. Yeah. So I hope we get that, even if it's just in the movies, and minimally in the TV shows, but more in the movies because they can afford to do it more in the movies. I have no problem with CGI. He looked great in Book of Boba Fett, and that was older technology. I think it would look even better now, but it has to make sense to the story where we're at,
Of course, yeah. Story before everything. Story supersedes the technology, the special effects, even. I want to say, well, I mean, it's tough to say because this is for the fans. I mean, everyone has to understand that Star Wars is created for fan consumption, and there's a balance there, just like balance of the Force. You have to make something that we're gonna like, that we're gonna want to watch over and over and over again. Because once you release it, there's final cut. It's set in stone forever, and they got to live with it, and we got to live with it. So they got to make sure that it's the best possible product, best possible story, best possible everything on screen, and with the score too that we can get, because this is Star Wars. This is the top IP, or nowadays it's one of the top. But I mean, this is a big deal, and you have to serve the fans. I mean, the fans are at the top of the list, that things you have to cater to.
I agree. We don't need more decisiveness or divisiveness.
Yeah.
We don't need to subjugate expectations.
Yeah. So Madi says, as a consumer, using AI feels like cutting corners instead of intentional work in the craft. I think as of right now, it's so accessible to use AI. There's so many people, like Craig said, they're making a lot of fan fiction, and it's looking really good. It's looking like Star Wars film.
How about that one guy with the really funny videos with Anakin and
Yeah, they're like sitting on a couch and they're wearing the hoods.
Those are hilarious, and they look so good. They look so good.
Yeah, it's photorealistic, but it still looks a little bit off because the body types they're not changing them. But
he's not trying to sell out movie theaters, David. He's doing it from his couch. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I know, but I'm just saying.
They're so funny.
All right, so James Herrera says, which is why we need more sequels to trilogy stuff. I don't want to get to 20 years from now and they finally do a project with Rey, Finn, and Poe. I don't think that's going to happen. The reason why it took us so long to get stuff back with an older Luke, Leia, and Han was because Lucas wanted to take another break. And once he decided to sell, Disney was like, yes, we're starting production now on films. And which was wild at the time.
I think that
Disney needs to make money off this. They've already recouped all the billions that they purchased Lucasfilm for. But I mean, they're a corporation, they've got the board, they got investors. So
look, they can ignore giving the fans what they want, but it's only making people more and more angry and fed up. I mean, my stepbrother, for example, is so fed up with Disney and the way they do things. And he's just disgusted by it. Okay. And he's a massive Star Wars fan. So there are a lot of people that are like that. And for me, I think Favreau has the touch of giving us what we're looking for. If you ask me, out of everybody, not that Gilroy did an incredible job. He certainly did. But like Favreau seems to know this is what they're looking for. Look at what Mandalorian did. Mandalorian really brought a lot of Star Wars fans back. You know, those first 2 seasons were just great. And he did a great job with Filoni. And I think they have a good balance. But I think Favreau wants to give the people what they're looking for. He wants that. He wants to give us our action figures from 1977. And that's why I think we have like R5 back, you know? Or a snaggletooth in, you know, the what was it? The episode with Zeb in it. There was like a snaggletooth as the bartender, right? He wants to give us those characters in different ways.
It was a little shocking not to get like, it was almost like 0 classic aliens in the sequel trilogy. They invented new ones, and it was a little bit like, why did you guys do that? I mean, the sequel trilogy could have done more to feel more like Star Wars in a way. Yeah. Even with prequel characters. I mean, even if they had more of those guys show up, it would have felt more connected to Star Wars. And in a lot of ways, it feels disconnected to everything we got before.
I agree with that. Yeah. And maybe that was Disney feeling like they needed to put their own spin on things to make it theirs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mando, this comment, I totally agree with Craig. Mando revived and grew Star Wars to a whole new generation. Think about it. If you're a kid, right? I think kids are going to be far more drawn to watching Mandalorian than they are the sequel trilogy. Look at people love Grogu. They love Din Djarin, and everybody seems to be like excited about Star Wars again.
Yeah. And James says Disney was too scared of the prequels. So it was a different time back in 2012 when they made the purchase. And they didn't want anything really to do with the prequels that much because there wasn't this overwhelming fan love that we have now for the prequels and for Hayden Christensen.
Right here.
The fan love. That's an awesome shirt. There we go.
There's my Because of Obi-Wan shirt. That's what it says on the bottom. Because of Obi-Wan. How is that? Was that a good?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Inflection right there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a pretty cool.
You never see shirts like this. You never see shirts like this.
Well, you go to the conventions, you go to Space Con and Rebel Scum Con, you'll see them.
No, I'm telling you, look for a shirt like this. You never see them.
Yeah, the shirt that I loved at Rebel Scum Con, it was worn by one of our listeners, Ken. It was a big like picture like that, but of Watto's head, and it said "Only Money."
I never see a Watto shirt. They tend to be drawn. They don't tend to be like actual pictures from the movie.
Right.
I don't know why that is.
Technology is getting better. Access to shirt printers is getting more prolific. But yeah, James says they were scared of the prequels. Yeah, it's such a like 180 for people like me and James. James is in his late 30s and I'm in my mid 40s now, and to see the wave that was the prequels, it was super high, super hyped. Then when it came out, there was like slow trickle of like, I don't like this, and people didn't favor it. Then Attack of the Clones came out, and then it's like, yeah, the Yoda fight was great, but the whole movie, it's still not what we wanted. And then Revenge of the Sith came out. Yeah, that's better, but still overall the prequels weren't great. And then the kids that saw the prequels grew up, and now they're adults, and now they're like so like over. They say Revenge of the Sith is the greatest Star Wars movie, and I used to just like look at them like waiting for like haha or lots of Latin. No, they like believe that Revenge of the Sith is the greatest Star Wars film of all time, which is an incredible thing. I never thought that at the time. You all know that my favorite prequel is The Phantom Menace, but it's incredible to see that shift, that wave. And I mean, of course, the older fans that were actually there in the 70s to see it, they're older now. They comment less on the internet and Facebook and social media and stuff. So they're not as present anymore. And the youth, the young adults are more active now, and they champion the prequels. And now that's very lucrative. And you see it with Hayden Christensen coming back to conventions.
Yeah.
He gets his own building sometimes at these conventions, and there's people like packed in these buildings just to get a glimpse of him.
Yeah.
And it's astounding, man.
I don't think we're gonna see that same thing with the sequels, though. I don't think people are gonna be like, the sequel trilogy is my favorite, because let's face it, a lot of the parents aren't sharing that stuff with their kids. If you think
that is true,
any son of mine is gonna watch that movie, and he's going to my house.
my former boss is like that. We will talk about Star Wars, and he has 2 young kids. And I asked him one time, have you shown him the prequels yet? And he's like, I would never. And I'm like, what? And we had a conversation about it.
Prequels or the sequels?
The prequels. Because he's an older guy. I think he's approaching 60. But he did not like the prequels. He shunned them. And he still hasn't kind of accepted the prequels at all.
Yeah.
He said he's not showing his kids he's acting like they don't exist. And then on the flip side, you have people like that with the sequels. So the big question that me and James have proposed, are we going to see that same upturn in 20 years or so, where kids saw the sequels and are going to be totally in love with the sequels in the future? And they're going to be, because I mean, Adam Driver.
They're going to do that with Mandalorian. They're going to do that with Mandalorian.
Well, that's already done now, but because that's universally loved, I think.
That's what I'm saying.
We're going to get the movie.
Kids that grew up with Mandalorian are going to they're going to show that stuff to their kids.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. But I mean, the sequels do exist, man. I mean, they are episodes, and it's the continuation.
Only in your mind, David.
Okay. So the next thing that's really cool that kind of like came across social media and kind of spread like wildfire, which I'm very disappointed in myself for not thinking about this, because we had Ewan McGregor say, oh, I want to be in Andor season 3. And it's like, Ewan, Andor season 3 is called A New Hope. but
You were
yeah, it's like, well,
from a
Alec
certain
Guinness
point of
hosting
view.
Andor season 3, but there is a way in. Like I keep on saying, I keep on preaching this to people. There are ways into ideas that otherwise seem ridiculous on the surface. So yes, you can have an Andor season 3, but you can't have Cassian Andor in it because, of course, we all know what happens. Rogue One happens. There's no room to do anything in between because Andor season 2 leaves off and does the handoff to Rogue One.
Yeah.
But there is an idea out there to involve 2 of the better actors, and all the actors in Andor were good, were excellent. I don't think there was like a weak link anywhere. But here's the picture that's floating around, and it involves Clea and Vel here, plus maybe Princess Leia, maybe Dedra Miro. I'll read it to you. Andor creator Tony Gilroy likes the idea of a Clea and Vel Nazi Hunter spinoff series in which the duo hunt after former Imperials following the fall of the Empire with the assistance of Dedra Miro in a Hannibal Lecter-esque role. That's a hip idea. I'm sure Kathy will hear about that one. That's a good one. So you have the endorsement of Tony Gilroy right there. So that's an epic idea, man. You can still continue those characters from Andor, and the only problem is Tony Gilroy's like, I've done 10 years of Star Wars. I'm done. I need to move on.
Yeah.
We might not have him. Maybe have him in like an executive producer type role, or maybe kind of like a mentor to whoever they bring in if they decide to go this route. But it's terrific. The actors are young. There hasn't been this huge gulf of time that we've experienced with other Star Wars projects. We can bring them in. We could do it. But of course, it has to be well done. It has to be in the same vein as Andor. You can't really deviate. It has to be very serious. You have to bring in someone with the same intensity, I think, and level, because this is still serious subject matter. And we've been asking for it for a long time to do stuff like this, where you go off, you don't stay with the main characters. You can go off into the lives and the missions of all the other like secondary and tertiary characters.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'd be interested in a show like that for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Dedra Miro is a Hannibal-esque character. She can still be in prison, but visited somehow, some way. I mean, I guess you really got to think it through, because I don't think Vel and Clea could actually visit her. Maybe have like an in-between person that obtains information from her.
So are they thinking in the timeline that it's after the first Death Star is destroyed?
Yes. I've seen after the first Death Star is destroyed and you somehow involve Leia, a young Leia. And you involve the rebellion, and you get to go back to Yavin 4.
It would be tough because you feel like Leia is with Han and Luke and everything at this time during, because we're looking at Empire Strikes Back, and you don't want to.
Right, but I mean, they're all together at that point in time. Because how many years is it between A New Hope and Empire?
Just maybe a couple, right?
Right, that's enough time, bro. I mean, that totally works, because the rebellion, there's still like interworkings and different characters, and I mean, there's a lot that you can build off of that, I think.
Yeah. No, I think they have to be careful.
Of course. Yeah, there's,
because that's a sensitive timeline that you're
right.
You
And it does. I mean, just like Andor. I mean, you don't.
Empire,
Yeah, just like Andor, you don't have to show lightsabers. You don't have to show the Force. You don't have to show Jedi. You don't have to show any of that. It'd be nice, but you don't technically have to do that if you do it like Andor. And of course, Andor wasn't entirely Tony Gilroy. I mean, there's his brother, Dan Gilroy. There was other writers. There was other directors. You can bring back those directors. I mean, bring back as many people as possible for Andor. And you can have the same feel. You can have the same type of vibe and story. I think it'd be great. I think it would be a big hit, because you look at Andor season 1, people were unsure about it. People fell in love with it. Andor season 2, winning Emmys left and right. Probably going to win more Emmys this Sunday. So I think it could be a hit. I think it's a fantastic idea, and we got Gilroy's stamp of approval.
Well, as far as we know, there's only a few projects that they've announced. They've announced what was the cartoon again?
Maul Shadow Lord.
Yeah, when does that come out?
That comes out next year.
Okay, so you have that. We have Starfighter. Is that what it's called?
Starfighter, that comes out in 2027.
Mandalorian and Grogu and
2026.
Ahsoka season 2.
Right.
Is that everything that we know of?
Actually, I think if you're in chat, I think you can kind of help us out here with all the projects. But yeah, so I mean, we talked about the shelved Rey movie. Then there's Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi or Jedi Prime movie, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's pretty much it. And there's talks of Taika's movie, but it doesn't feel like it feels like that can happen or not happen. You know, Taika's still a busy guy in Hollywood. But yeah, 2026. Yeah, it's pretty much the stuff that I'm looking forward to is of course Mando Grogu, which is going to come out in May. Also Visions is coming out, and Mari just pointed that out. And apparently there's going to be a spin-off off The Ninth Jedi, which will be a series. I saw someone post something about that. So yeah, Visions will be this year. And after that, I don't think there's anything this year other than the Lego animated film. So yeah, I mean we still got stuff in the pipeline that's coming up. Wish we had more stuff as far as like feature films go, but I think the more you think about it, the Mando and Grogu film will be more dynamic and more intriguing than most people think. They released that footage that we got in Japan at D23, and I prefer them not releasing more stuff. I rather be in a theater watching it for the first time, and I think that's going to happen. Hopefully, they kind of calm down with the marketing, but I mean, they're
calm down with the marketing.
Yeah, I mean,
they haven't even officially seen the teaser.
well, once we get into the proper time frame where they start dropping stuff, I don't want to see a whole lot, you know?
I think what they need to do is give us a little bit more ahead of time and then give us a little less when it's time to see it.
Well, I think a full-blown trailer.
And then they show us the whole movie 2 weeks before it comes out.
Right. So, yeah, I definitely want the trailer, and then you get a second trailer, and the second trailer reveals more stuff. But you're going to have, like, 20 different commercials and revealing different.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that either.
Yeah. I mean, there needs to be a little bit of a change with that. And a Star Wars film isn't that long either, so unless the thing is going to be like 3 hours long, which I heavily doubt. And I think there's runtimes listed out there, even though they're probably just rumored at this point. But yeah, I don't want to see a whole lot from that film, and we have seen stuff. So yeah, that's the Andor sequel. So the other thing that really piqued my interest was the talk about the Las Vegas Sphere. And if you don't know what that is, it's essentially a huge ball that sits on the Vegas Strip. It's something like 200, 300 feet tall.
Yeah.
And
I always wanted to go there.
Right. I've actually never been to Vegas. I'm like mid-40s.
I haven't been there either.
Wow.
Let's go together.
Well, I mean, this will be a great occasion to go. Ooh, so, and this picture I'm about to put up, if you're watching this on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, that's essentially what it would look like if they made the sphere look like the Death Star. And this thing's been like floated around forever because, of course, when this debuted in 2023, can't believe it's been that long ago. This was a picture that was floating around. Yeah, let's do something Star Wars centric. And then the idea came across that, why don't we do Star Wars Celebration in Vegas? Tons of hotel rooms, lots of venues. There's Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. Shout out to Kevin on Phantom Podcast Network. He's the Raider Lorian, and of course you've seen him as a host. But yeah, and they call that stadium where the Raiders play the Death Star already. So there's Star Wars connections here. But recently they've been showing the Wizard of Oz, and AI has creeped. The AI controversy has creeped itself into that as well, because of course you're in about a 17,000 seat type of ball shaped arena, and the entire screen that's curved over you that goes over your head is video. They do concerts there. They do special events. I think the Backstreet Boys were there. I think was it U2 that did a big concert, and just tons of visuals everywhere, all over. And right now, like I said, they're doing the Wizard of Oz, and of course, the screen is sloped, so you have to continue that classic image up. So apparently, they used AI to do that, to complete the spherical image that wraps around you. And people got really mad about that. Because of course people get mad about everything. But
wait, why are they mad about that?
Because they used AI.
What do they want them to use?
Well, they want illustrators and graphic designers to do the work instead of them kind of like sealing the sphere around you with AI, like completion stuff. And we've seen it on Instagram. We've seen it on TikTok where people will have an image, and then there's maybe a particular set of accounts where you see the 16:9 frame of a famous movie, and then the image stretches and you see everything up and down on the frame of like your phone. So instead of 16:9, it's like twisted up and it's spread, and it's AI that completes the image out for you. That's what they're doing for the Wizard of Oz right now. It looks great. And the experience they have right now, they actually have like physical, it's almost like a 4D experience, because when the flying monkeys come out, they actually have flying monkeys, like physical flying monkeys flying above your head.
That's crazy.
Yeah, when they go to the forest and they start throwing the apples, they start dropping like Nerf apples from the ceiling that will hit you.
That's crazy.
And I believe you get to keep. So yeah, that's a totally cool experience. A massive shared experience. It's like going to a theater times 1,000,000, because you're in there with 17,000 people. Sound system's awesome. It is pricey though. The average ticket price is about $200. So the Wizard of Oz is making $2 million a day. A day, they're making $2 million.
Wait, how is it doing $2 million a day? How many seat showings is that?
Well, let's do the math. So the Wizard of Oz, is 2 hours long? So $200 times, let's say, roughly 17,000 seats.
It's filling that up. 17,000.
So $200 is roughly the median price. So yeah, so 200 times 17,000, that's 3.4 million. But you can get cheaper seats. But roughly, they're making $2 million a day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the report. And of course, they're probably not selling out all the time, because it's a repeat viewing thing. And then once people go and then people see the price, there's sticker shock, of course, like you just had. But so the rumor is there are talks. So it's the owner. Okay, you probably know more about this than you actually think you know, because it's James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, that owns the Sphere. And he's in talks with Disney and other studios to show other films in there. So the big talk is Star Wars. He's trying to get with Disney, and Disney reportedly has gone back to him and wanted certain stipulations to showing Star Wars, because Disney wants more control than James Dolan really wants to allow for Star Wars. There's certain agreement bullet points that they want to meet, and that's the rumor. I'm not quite sure. Star Wars would be a fantastic experience in that thing, man. Can you imagine the trench run? Can you imagine the battle, the space battle
And then they
space
throw the
battles,
apples at you
and Rogue
during the space
One,
battle.
and in Return of the Jedi. I mean, you would like being on Mustafar and feeling the heat. They could do that there. They could make the place hot and make it a true 4D experience.
No, I think it sounds awesome.
Yeah. And it really reminded me of doing The Void.
I'm just the kind of fool that would pay $200 for that.
Oh, man, we would pay so much to be in Vegas for that.
How many times can you see it a day?
Multiple, man.
Okay, you've talked me into it. I'm in.
Multiple. Yeah. And I'm just thinking about it right now. The Void that I did, where you wear the vest and the helmet and you feel the blaster bolts when they hit you. You feel the heat. You feel the heat of Mustafar.
Yeah.
That was the greatest Star Wars experience I've ever had. And I got to share it with my daughter. And my daughter, if you go in there with a group, you look around and you're full on in Stormtrooper armor. And my daughter, she was very short and she was like a little Stormtrooper. And I just couldn't stop laughing. It was incredible. They give you a blaster. Of course, that's all gone now because it's not very pandemic friendly or virus friendly. But they did wipe down the stuff. But
yeah,
this is the next closest thing to be. Everyone wants to go to a theater and experience Star Wars together. Imagine an opening night in that thing.
I would go. I would go to Vegas just to experience.
Right. And it's 17,000 seats, 17,000 plus. We could all go. Here's a few more pictures of what they can do on the outside of the sphere. They put an eyeball and it's moving around. They've done a pumpkin before. These are actual shots of the sphere.
Yeah, it's
you
really
can see
cool.
there the size of the cars. That's good for like perspective.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
It is really cool. It cost like $2 billion to make.
I think it was even more than that, wasn't it?
No, the structure was like about $2 billion. So it wasn't insane money, but it is insane money. So James is saying they don't play the whole movie.
What?
I don't know. I've never heard that before.
How much of the movie do you get for $200?
I don't know. But hey, I would go there just to see the action sequences in Star Wars. I mean,
true.
We all know the stories by heart anyways. So it doesn't really affect me. And there's so much to do in Vegas anyways. I mean, there would be.
How cool would it be to see in even Mandalorian with the Krayt dragon when it comes up at the screen like that? You know?
Yes.
That would be such a great scene.
Yes, there's a lot of moments like that where, I mean, yeah, you would pay top dollar to see on a massive curved screen like that.
I like this. I like this, Disney. You hear me? Make it happen.
Yeah, dude, Disney, make it happen. 50th celebration's coming up, man.
We're ready to celebrate. I've got money. Do you want it? Do you want my money, Disney? Let's talk.
I think they do.
Here's a list of demands. Luke Skywalker, more Luke Skywalker, original trilogy, more action figures. Should I keep going? More rides at the park, more stuff.
What's your top 3 things that you want from Star Wars as far as like merchandising goes?
Merchandising?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a tough one. Have you seen my house?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm asking you the question because you have a lot of stuff.
Actually, there is something that I'm pretty excited about that's coming out like probably in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Home Depot is releasing a life-size R2-D2, and it's only $300. And the head moves, and it makes the sound. It looks amazing. And the demand for it, go look on Facebook, is already huge. And that looks awesome. That is the most excited I've been about something in a while. Like because I've always wanted a life-size R2-D2. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I tried to buy it. That was the raffle item I tried to get, but
it's not up yet.
It's marked as sold out, but it hasn't been released yet. So once it does come out, I'm pretty sure it is going to sell out because, like you said, so many people are excited to have a life-size, like working, functional, good-looking R2-D2 in your house.
It doesn't drive around, but it does spin on the base.
Right.
which is, I mean, I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
For
James
3 hours.
says The Wizard of Oz only runs for about 75 minutes, which it's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good.
How long was the movie?
I have no idea. I think it's longer than that, but I mean, you get most of. I mean, all we care about is the action stuff. Like for something like Star Wars, we all know the movies by heart. I mean, you're going there for like the big like action sequences and the starships and the battles and stuff. That's what I want to see. Because
Yeah.
as a kid, I would rewind the VHS tape just to see those sequences over and over and over again.
But maybe they would make an exception for something like Star Wars. Maybe they would
You
do the
know,
whole movie.
yeah, they're making so much money. It's like, yeah, just show the whole thing. But yeah, I'm not in charge of that. We can only request it as always.
I would like to see Hasbro make a HasLab Death Star. That would be towards the top of my list as far as what I'd be looking for. People have been requesting that one for years, and I think that is really high on the list.
How big would that be, though?
I mean, if I could move in and live in it, that'd be fine by me.
Okay, realistically, Craig.
Realistically, I think it
like,
would be great if they did like
4
a
feet in
base
diameter?
version and a deluxe version,
Oof.
or maybe different things, so you can make it more modular to make it larger depending upon how much space you have. So maybe offer at least 2 different options, like they did with the Cantina.
Okay, deluxe. How big is that thing going to be? 6 feet tall? I mean, what are we talking here?
I mean, that's a little small for me, but okay. Like I said, if I could have an addition to my home where it's just a Death Star.
Are we talking about like the micro galaxy squadron figures like I have here where you have like Anakin?
No, we're not talking about David. We're talking about for men. We need big.
We only have so much room in our houses, though.
That's
Craig.
why I said an extension. I'm fine with a housing extension. Okay, if we have to get permits to build this thing, that's fine. No, I do think it should be. They should offer different options where maybe there's like, so you can put together like the version that you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that way you can construct. I think there should be at least 2 versions. One and a normal one, and then a deluxe. And if they make it so it's modular, you can say I want this part on there and not right. So, but that's definitely towards the top of my list. Right. You know what my next thing would be? A VR video game like Battlefront. That would be my second choice.
So essentially like The Void in your home.
Yes. Like
Ready Player One Star Wars.
Like why not do Battlefront 3, but also have a VR version where you can play the whole space battles in virtual reality? It doesn't seem like it should be that hard to do with as powerful as the PlayStation 5 is.
Yeah.
So that would be my second choice. How's that? Pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
That'd be awesome, man.
I really would. And then multiplayer. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could all play. All right. So the next major topic here is this bad boy right here.
Oh, you found it. I've been looking for that.
It is here. So this just happened a few days ago, September 5th, Thursday. This Darth Vader screen-used lightsaber prop was sold at a prop store, entertainment memorabilia live auction in Los Angeles for over $3.6 million. The iconic prop, which was featured in both The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, sold September 5th. It's now the most expensive piece of Star Wars memorabilia ever sold at auction.
Awesome.
Did you buy it?
I'm not at liberty to discuss.
Yeah. And a little bit of history on the prop here. Of course, it's Vader's saber hilt. The prop is made from real-world vintage camera flash handle and was modified with plastic strips and calculator parts to create Vader's signature weapon. A wooden rod was used as the blade and to help guide visual effects artists, adding the glow in post-production. The condition of the prop, there was slight damage to the hilt, which identifies it as the primary prop used in the films. And the origin of the prop, the lightsaber emerged from a single private collection. So they're not even saying like who originally had this saber. But yeah, you can see a little bit closer there on screen the damage.
Well, it was in a pretty significant battle, David. Of course, it's going to be battle damaged.
Well, yeah, no, I'm asking. They didn't say. Of course, it's going to be damaged, but of course, anyone can damage anything. But who had it that gave it up for the auction? Apparently, somebody had it. Like it wasn't George Lucas. It wasn't like a higher up or anyone like that. So, but then again, you think, I mean, if they just gave it for an auction, they were probably already fairly wealthy. But yeah, it's super cool, man. For all the prop collectors, this essentially maybe is the holy grail.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. A lot of wear and tear.
$3 million. Worth every penny is what I've always said. But now that I'm seeing the battle damage, I might have to return it. I don't know. I'll play with it for a little bit first, of course.
So what's the most you've spent on a prop? Do you have any props from the films?
I don't have any props from the films that I can think. No. But we do have friends of the podcast that have.
We definitely do have friends of the podcast. We have an actual Patreon member who has screen used props, and that's what he's into.
I think the most expensive thing that I've got. Okay. There was a Morphe auction a couple years ago. You can look this up. It's pretty famous. Where a guy had like close to 400 Star Wars figures that were in a box in his closet since the 70s. And so they auctioned everything off at once. And I got a Luke Skywalker 12-back from that. And that was probably the most expensive figure that I got. And then I got it graded, and it graded really high. It was like, if you know anything about Star Wars figures grading, it's very, very, very tough to even get a 90. Like 90s, they don't like anything over 90 is like extremely rare, especially with the vintage stuff. And I think that graded like 85, 80. Like they grade the card back, then they grade the bubble, and then they grade the figure inside of it. And I think that got like an 85, 85, 85, something like that. So that was probably my most expensive thing that I have. And I got a bunch of stuff from that auction. I got a Princess Leia, and that was a few thousand, and that graded like beautifully as well. So that's probably the most expensive stuff that I got.
I had a buddy that told me one time that he had every single original Kenner figure. So he had the complete collection.
Yeah.
He sold it to like a comic book store owner, and he just wrote him a check for $100,000 for it.
I believe it.
And he bought his house with it.
Let's see. I might be able to pull up a picture of it. But I do have some really nice. Yeah, it got graded an 85, 85, 85. Let me see if I could show you. I'll try and zoom in a little bit. Which 85 plus, actually, which is very, very high. And I also got a Princess Leia from that, which was actually on the cover of the book promoting the auction. Yeah. That was uncirculated, meaning they opened the box and it only had Princess Leia's and Han Solo's in it. And I got a Princess Leia from that. And that graded an 85, 85, 90. And if you look at it, it's about as flawless as you're ever going to see on a figure from the 70s.
Yeah.
And here's the grade. it's technically over an 85. You can see the 86 point whatever.
86.9, yeah.
Yeah. So, but 85, 85, 90. And the 90 on the figure was really nice because, as you know, that is a Snow White figure. It's all white. And so a lot of them get discoloration,
Right, you get the yellowing.
arms and the legs a little bit.
Yeah.
But this one is like as white as you could possibly want it.
Yeah, they kept it in a weather controlled environment. They didn't keep it in the sun or anything like
So
that.
those are probably the two most expensive one. Then I got a Han Solo that was also uncirculated. And that was also graded an 85 also.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
And that.
But
this was a 20 back. This one actually wasn't a 12 back. It was a 20 back. But still, it's.
And how much would a Han Solo go for? That's an 85.
Well, it was ungraded when I got it,
Mm-hmm.
so I had it graded. So when you get it graded and then it grades that high, the value goes up significantly. But I think I paid $3,000 for the Han.
Okay, how much do you think it's worth now?
Probably I would guess like 4,500.
Okay,
it's worth more because they grade really well. Obviously, if it doesn't grade that high,
okay.
But the Luke is probably the most valuable because obviously it's Luke, and it was like a 12 back Luke.
Yeah.
So
the thing that I've been doing as an adult, I'm keeping things more in boxes because of, I don't know, what we've seen in the past. I mean, you keep stuff in really great condition. It might end up being rare. It might I mean, you might, who knows? You might need the money at every point in time in life too.
It will be worth more in the package. But to me, it's like the thing that makes these collectibles so valuable is the kids that played with it. When they grow up, they feel that nostalgic feeling when they have it, right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
A lot of these collectibles aren't really going to go up so much because there's not like that. I had this as a kid, except unless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's a big part of it. It's like I had this as a kid and I loved it.
Right. But I think it'll go past that even because collecting and grading has really built up significantly in pop culture and just the overall collecting of things. Because I felt like there was a dip a little bit. It's almost mirrored to the trading card market. So even now, Star Wars trading cards are huge, and I follow some people that will open up blind packs and pull out signatures and refractors and special like 1 of 20. I actually have like the 1 of 25 Mandalorian from the 2023 deck. I pulled that and I was like astounded because when I was a little kid, I would never pull anything great. But of course, I was buying like 1 pack at a time, had no money. So yeah, I mean the collecting market and trend is grown, I think, significantly. And then of course it's fueled by all these conventions too. You'll have vendors trying to sell stuff, and you look at these prices and they're just astronomical for some of these things. And I mean, I've gotten close a couple times buying some stuff, but I'm like, man, that's just too much money.
Yeah.
It's just way too much money. And then I'm like in a distant place, and it's like, man, it's gonna have to survive the plane flight or the car ride, and the box is gonna get dented and that whole thing. And yeah, stuff's gotta survive. But yeah, those are all the major topics that we had for today. Did you have anything, Craig, that you wanted to add to the podcast?
Let's see. No, I mean, I think we went over a lot of different stuff today.
Yeah, there's a lot of like tidbits and news that kind of dropped, and I definitely wanted to cover that stuff before it got to too much stuff to talk about. But it is Friday. We did kind of a special podcast today during the day. But if anything major drops, we'll do another podcast to cover it. But yeah, this will be the last pod until I guess maybe next Sunday or next Friday. I don't know.
Let's see. Maybe some juicy stuff will happen over the weekend.
It's possible. It's possible.
Did you hear the comment about Sigourney Weaver talking about how Mandalorian and Grogu was going to be better than Andor?
I didn't hear that, but that is wild.
I think she may have been tried to be playful about it, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I just saw that recently.
I mean, that's one of those things. I mean, she's in that movie.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
I mean,
Let me
she's
see
going to
if I
pump it up, hype it up. You'll always get sound bites like that from actors from their own projects.
Let's see if I can find it real quick. And did anybody else see that? Maybe anyone in the chat?
Anyone in the chat? Anyone in the chat? So yeah, I actually want to touch on Joseph Floyd's comments here on YouTube. He's been commenting throughout the whole podcast, and we just haven't been able to cover him. So he says, "Sup guys? Are they going to explain Maul in Solo?" I think we've already kind of understood why Maul is in Solo. He's leading Crimson Dawn, and the timeline works for him being there and having the mechanical legs. So all you have to do is really kind of look up, I think, a little bit on Wikipedia to figure all that out. And of course, we want something to extend off that, like a TV show. You can bring back Emilia Clarke as Kira. You can explore Crimson Dawn, but I think we're going to get a lot of that in, or maybe some of it in Shadow Lore, possibly. Joseph Floyd on YouTube also asked, do you think Luke will be in season 2 of Ahsoka? We kind of addressed that already. Maybe. I mean, they might be saving him for the big Filoni film. He also says, I think they'll pull the portal scene from Endgame Ahsoka season 2. I think that's going to happen in the movie. I don't think it's going to happen necessarily in Ahsoka. I would welcome it. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
He also says they did say there's going to be a massive battle. Yes, we did hear that. So, I mean, it could be that we get the big 3 showing up. That'd be terrific. Joseph also says, was the Lucas return rumor false? There's always returns for George Lucas that are rumors. I don't think it's, I mean, never say never, because, I mean, he did say Revenge of the Sith was the end, and then he came up with his own treatments and outlines for a sequel trilogy. But there's nothing official, nothing that I've heard. I think that'd be like huge news.
I think if Favreau wanted to work with him on something, he probably would do it. What do you think, Favreau and Filoni and George?
Yeah,
together?
I mean, it's the whole thing where he has the new baby, and I guess his
You have
baby.
another. Wait, who has a new baby? Wait,
no, he's got one kid that he had with his current wife, Melody.
I've never seen a picture of anything but this. Is it a son or a daughter? I didn't even know that.
I don't know.
Are you sure?
I'm sure there's a baby, but
really,
but the baby has to be like 7 by now or something, you know?
Okay. Oh, it's not a baby then.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Joseph also says, I want to see Abeloth from Legends. We do too. There are rumors floating around that like fan castings of Cate Blanchett playing Abeloth, which we all want Cate Blanchett to play Satine, but I mean, she's getting older. That whole thing, they can de-age her, I guess. But there's also the other rumor we've talked about before that Natalie Portman might play Abeloth. There might be some like story synergy, plot synergy with her playing the mother, and it being kind of a weird, kind of counter.
You can do it. Natalie Portman's a good actress.
Yeah, she wants to come back to Star Wars. She's already stated that. So Abeloth is a very interesting character too. Said to be unkillable, said to be one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful being in the universe.
Wait till she gets a hold of Luke.
Oh my gosh. All right. So, yep, that is it.
We covered a lot.
Yeah.
And listen, I really want to say, please, I'm begging you, support the Patreon. David has been homeless for almost 6 years now and if we just get one more person to sign up today, he's going to have that house.
Yeah, thankfully that's not true, Craig. I would hate to be homeless.
No, but it really helps a lot. Even the Patreon supporters that we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. everyone out there that listens, that contributes, that hits the like button out there. It means a lot. Your feedback. Tell us.
And a review. We even appreciate those of you that go out of your way to take a couple minutes to write up a review for us, right?
Yeah, for sure. And everyone that's out there that subscribed to it, there's a lot of people subscribed to it. So thank you so much. A lot of people that contribute monetarily as well. Thank you so much for following us, believing in us, listening to us, all the fantastic comments, the positivity. It's great. And also, you can find us at Instagram at Star Stuff Pod, Twitter at Stuff Pod. We had a few people last podcast say, "Hey, I've never listened to you guys before," and they were listening, which was great. Also, we're on Blue Sky. You can find us there. We're on Thread, Star Stuff Podcast. TikTok, we just released a TikTok. You might want to check it out, Star Stuff Podcast. You can email the show at starstuffpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We have a big group. We have a page. You can find us there. I did some birthday celebrations for Tony Gilroy. It was his birthday yesterday, and we honored him a bit. And
we're going to take him out to dinner tomorrow.
Yeah, Tony, if you want to go out to dinner, we will be available in all quadrants of the country.
I think I'm free.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, write a review. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You actually help the podcast tremendously if you listen to us on Spotify. So if you want to switch over, yes, it does. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course, we'll be at SpaceCon. Check out the website, spaceconsa.com. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of big time celebrities, Star Wars celebrities.
Bob has done an incredible job of getting a great lineup of Star Wars actors there. Seriously. And hopefully he can come on and talk to us about what he's doing. And because it's just incredible what he's done in just a short amount of time. Really. How many? I mean, you get to see so many incredible guests there. Like, where do you see that many Star Wars guests?
Yeah, and they all do panels. All the big guests do panels. Billy D's doing a panel. Ian McDermott's doing a panel. Natasha and Ivana are doing panels, I believe. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be great. And
for sure.
We'll be there.
I'm jealous. I'm not going to this one.
Man, Craig, you should come out.
I know. I'm really. It's
good. One day, Craig.
I know. I thought about it.
It's a 2-hour flight from Florida.
I know. The problem is that it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm going to be at Disney for Friday and Saturday, and I won't go, leave there till Sunday morning. So I wouldn't. Next year. Yeah.
For sure. Also, don't forget to check out Legion Sabers, legionsabers.com.
And you know what? Halloween is coming up. Everybody needs a good lightsaber for their costume.
Yep.
Got to go to Legion Sabers.
Faux show. And for Craig 5, my name is David, and may the Force be with you.
Always.
This is the way.
Standing by.
I have spoken.
Lock us foils in attack position.
We have friends everywhere.
May the Force be with you.
Always.
Try not. Do or do not. There is no try. This is never going to end, David.
Let's go until we can't anymore.
I think I stumped you already.
I said, don't get cocky.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And you spoke over me.
That. I got stuff to do, David.
All right. Yeah. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.
Wahoo!
We're all clear, kid.
I'm not going to keep this going.
All right. See you guys. For real this time. Bye.
Bye.